right. Let's move our body. So starting out, we're in our soft QiGong stance, which is strong. In QiGong, soft equals strong, and having this soft stance equates to strength. You are turning at the core. So it's an internal core movement. The arms are just along for the ride. Good place for a big, deep breath. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. So we're setting aside everything it's taken to get us here today and becoming present with our movement, which means that we're feeling where our hands are wrapping into our body. We're feeling how that feels on the body, and we're also feeling how it feels in our hands. And then we go to door of life. Knocking on the door of life, we're knocking across the middle. I'm muting everyone. Just unmute if you have something to say. So we want to wrap across our diaphragm area at the base of the rib cage. And in the back, we're knocking a little bit higher above at the base of the rib cage. So we want to get to that kidney area. And you can feel when you wrap on your kidneys, it's like a, oh, yeah, that's it. We are knocking on the kidneys because that's where the adrenal glands sit. Adrenal glands are responsible for cortisol production, adrenaline, get up and go. And it's morning, so we want to get up and go. So we're stimulating the adrenal glands on the kidneys. And then we're going to take it underneath the collarbones. Our lung 1 acupuncture point is right here, right underneath the collarbone in that kind of hollow of the shoulder. So we're knocking on that area within a 3-inch radius. You don't have to be, this isn't acupuncture. You don't have to zero the needle in on the exact spot. So lung, we're supporting the lung meridian, the lung organ flow. Another good place for a big breath. You can slow it down. The slower, the better in QiGong. We also tend to store emotion in our chest. So this is a good way to release emotion, stagnant emotion, especially grief. Let's do some knocks, Tarzan taps right on the sternum. There is a point that from the sternal notch down and out about 2 inches-ish, there's a really tender divot. And we want to knock on that. If I remember right, that's K27 kidney. And then we'll knock up and over the shoulder. Checking out Meridian Man here with all of the meridian And acupuncture points, yes. K, kidney 27. Up and over the shoulder. Large intestine. So who knew? We're supporting our colon by slapping our shoulders. And make your way back down. So we know the benefits of QiGong, the benefits of the movement practice, mindful movement, keeps us flexible, keeps our joints moving, helps us with balance, helps us build strength, and it helps our body's energetic system. All right, shake it out. We are going to do tiger, a different type of tiger than we typically do. We're going to sweep our tiger paws up and overhead. Kathy, your neighbors are going to love this one. And then reach out and pounce like a tiger and sweep up on the inhale, up on your toes. There's balance. And reach. Inhaling and exhaling. So look at all the things physically that's happening right here. We are working on strength in our glutes and our thighs, front and back. We're working on balance. We are working on the shoulder mobility. Takes brain cells because we're learning something new. One more. Nice. And now let's support those hips. Let's do some hip circles. Give our body a little bit of rest because tiger not only did all the benefits that I mentioned, it also helps us get our heart rate up. So let's rest and turn the other direction. All right, shake that out. We'll do picking apples. We're gonna hike up our hip. So we raise that hip up like we're holding a really heavy toddler out on our hip. And we reach, so that elbow is down. We reach up with the other side, so there's tension in the back. We're stretching down on one side, up on the other with the muscles of the back, plus we're hiking up a hip. So picking apples, picking cherries, reaching up as if you were picking fruit off of a tree. The bottom elbow is back and down, so there's a little bit of twist. Such a nice back stretch. One more set. Nice. Let's do shoulder rolls while we pump the legs. So we're bending our knees, sending our bottom back while we circle the shoulders. This is an excellent movement for thighs, front and back, glutes, and shoulders. Also good to keep our knee joints supple. So let's do our knee circles with our feet separated. Both knees are going in. We've got our bottom back. We are oiling the joints of our knees. And then change direction. In traditional Chinese medicine, they believed that stagnation occurred in joints. The energetic flow of the body would get stagnant in the points of the joints, so they wanted to keep the joints fluid and moving. Nice. And then let's bring our feet together. I hope you changed direction. I might not have called that out. So changing direction, make sure you're doing both directions. And then we'll do our knee circles with our feet together. So we bring our feet together. Hands are just above the knees. We send our bottom back and we're circling. We are oiling the joints of the knees, but look what's happening in the ankles and feet. There's a lot going on, especially if you're wearing sandals or barefoot and you can see what's going on in your feet. All of the muscles of the foot structure, the ligaments, the tendons. Now change direction. All right, coming back up. Let's go ahead and do rooster stands on one leg. So that standing leg knee is not locked. We don't lock our joints in QiGong. So we always have soft joints. Fingertips pointing to the elbow, the other elbow is bent at 90 degrees. We're staying here for about 30 seconds because we remember that improving our balance improves our cognition. And who doesn't want a healthy brain as we age? It's one of the tests they do to test for cognitive impairment is balance. So let's work our balance so we can pass that test. So switching sides, another 30 seconds. And then we're going to go back and do the other side again. We want a minute on each side total. Use your focal point. Stare at the horizon line and slightly below. On an object, stare at an object that does not move. Or out the window. Watching the second hand on a clock is not a good focal point. I'm going to do some hip crease knocks with some hip sweeps before we go to the other side. We want to support these hip flexor muscles that are activated right now. And we'll prepare to balance on that other side. So get your stance. We want to be long through the spine, lifted through the heart. This is a position of strength, balance. We are steady. When we're in this position of balance and strength, it's possible we're centered, and that way we can roll with whatever the world dishes out. All right, let's do our small hip circles. This is more like hula hoop. So imagine that you have a hula hoop and you are activating it. Or hula dancing, whichever you prefer. So in QiGong, we have movement, we have breath, and we have visualization. Change direction. Nice. And let's do hip crease knocks and sways again, hip sways. And then we'll do our glute and leg slaps. So we start at the outside of the hip. We go around to the back of the glutes. And then we go down the outside of the leg to the outside of the knee. And we pause. We stay here. And we whap. All the way down toward the ankle. Around each foot and back up the inseam. We're only going to do one of these. And we come back up to the hip crease area, but we want to be close to midline to catch kidney bladder meridian. Nice. Circle head and torso. So we've got our QiGong stance. Our hips are solid. We're not moving them. So when we're doing hip circles, the only thing that's moving is the hips, or even the big circles. It's the hips. Our shoulders are staying upright. Our torso's upright. When we're doing this one, we plant the hips and we circle the head and torso. So two different movements. Hips are not moving. There's no circles. The only thing circling is the upper body. Leaning back, making those circles. One more. And then change direction. Last one. And back upright. Let's do another tiger variation. We're gonna inhale and sweep up through center with those arms, come up on the balls of your feet, one arm forward, one arm back, and a pounce. Bend the knees, pounce. You can with your fingers. So inhale, come up on the balls of your feet, and exhale, pounce. A big open mouth exhale. Last one. Nice. Let's circle our ankles. So we're gonna lift the knee, circle the ankle. Other direction. With crease knocks, you can do some sway. Other side. Imagine that you've got roots and you're sending them down into the earth. Change direction. Nice. You can hip crease knock if you choose. Supportive of those hip flexor muscles. Okay, let's just see how the hip circle feels different than the circling head and torso. So keep your shoulders stationary, basically. Everything's on the same plane here. We're not like going out like this with our head. So now do hip circles without moving shoulders and head and see how that's different. So head and shoulders are upright, staying in the same plane. Perfect, looks good. Nice, see how that feels different? Beautiful. Inhale, gather. So we're gathering everything good. And we're bringing that right down into our body. Exhaling down, releasing tension, stress, worry, emotion, sending it back to the earth to be recycled. Let's do another one. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Spreading feathers. So we're pushing through the heels of our hands. Our shoulders are back. Our heart is lifted, chest is lifted. Our fingers come back toward our shoulders. So we're pressing through the heels of the hands. Elbows are soft. Drop the chin to the chest. Take the right ear to the right shoulder. And then sweep your ear to the front and the back of the shoulder. Back to center and release the arms, circle the shoulders. You can do your pumping of the legs. We'll do that on the other side. So press through the heels of the hands, fingers back towards you. We're in a soft QiGong stance. Shoulders are back, heart is lifted, chin to chest. Left ear, left shoulder. And then sweep that ear to the front and back of the shoulder. If you've got a lot of crunching going on, you might want to consider getting a chiropractic cervical adjustment. If that's something you do. And back to center. Release the arms. Circle the shoulders. And now we're going to do palms up. So before palms are down, now we have palms up. We pinch our fingers and thumbs into bird's beak. And we roll our fingers closer to our forearm. So now we're stretching out the opposite side of our forearm. Shoulders are back, chin to chest, right ear, right shoulder, sweep ear to front and back of shoulder. Back to center, other side. Last one, back to center, release. Shake out the arms. Let's clasp our fingers and move in a figure eight. And then change direction. And then keep those fingers clasped and circle the elbows. And now add the hip lift. So while that elbow on the same side is going up, we lift up the hip, hike up the hip. That's really good for our low back to hike the hip. So check in. Have we gotten every part of our body? We've done neck, shoulders, arms, wrists, upper back, mid-back waist, hips, knees, and ankles. I think we've gotten a pretty good workout here. All right, and so let's do a fluid movement to close. Just a few of these. So we take our nervous system from being very active and we calm the heck down. This is a variation of cloudy hands. Last one. And there's our practice.